This is the Mac Studio with M3 Ultra, and Apple claims is going to redefine performance for creators and AI developers alike. But after pushing it through weeks of real-world use, I discovered things the ads don't tell you, like when you'll actually feel it fly and when it still feels like overkill. Stick around, because by the end, I'll tell you exactly who should buy this and who should save their cash. Product overview. So, what exactly are we looking at? The Mac Studio M3 Ultra is Apple's new high-end desktop workstation, released in March 2025. It's built by Apple, obviously, and it's aimed at creators, developers, and power users who need serious horsepower, especially those doing video editing, 3D rendering, or working with large AI models. The headline specs are wild, up to a 32-core CPU, up to 80 GPU cores, unified memory up to 512 gigabytes, insane memory bandwidth, and Thunderbolt 5 ports. It's Apple's way of saying, here's the most powerful Mac we've made in a compact chassis. Performance. All right, specs are sexy, but let's talk about what this thing feels like in day-to-day use. I use this Mac Studio for everything from juggling multiple 8K ProRes video streams in DaVinci Resolve, to rendering 3D scenes in Blender, to experimenting with large language model inference. And boy, if you ask me, the M3 Ultra does deliver on that feel of having no lag. Scrubbing timelines, applying effects, switching between massive projects, it's smooth. The thing boots tasks fast, there's almost no waiting, especially when your workflow touches both CPU and GPU heavily. In benchmarks, the M3 Ultra outperforms its predecessor by 16–30% on multi-core workloads. It also beats the new M4 Max in many multi-core and GPU-intensive tests, though the margin is less in single-core stuff. Where things slow down a bit, scrubbing very heavy 8K footage still causes occasional hiccups, unless you proxy or transcode first. So if your workload is constantly pushing the limits, you'll notice. One other real-world surprise, power draw. For how much it can push, the Mac Studio is fairly efficient. It gets warm under load, and it does use a lot of watts in peak, but Apple's cooling design, fan behavior, etc. does a strong job keeping noise levels reasonable. Not silent, but impressively restrained considering what's happening inside. Features and tech. What makes the M3 Ultra more than just raw cores? Here are some standout features and why they matter. Unified memory up to 512 gigabytes and 819 gigabytes per second bandwidth. This is a big deal, especially for workflows that cross CPU-GPU boundaries. You don't want data shuttled back and forth. Unified memory means less latency, fewer bottlenecks. Dual-die UltraFusion architecture. The M3 Ultra is essentially two M3 dies fused together via Apple's UltraFusion interconnect. That's what gives you that jump in core counts, massive GPU power, and high bandwidth. Thunderbolt 5, or port flexibility. There are 6 Thunderbolt 5 ports, plus USB-A and HDMI, SD card slot, etc. This means super fast external drives, displays, and future-proofing. If you have loads of peripherals, you won't feel constrained. AI and ML capabilities. This is where the M3 Ultra kind of pulls ahead of almost everything else. Because of its unified memory and GPU strength, you can run large AI models locally. For example, reviewers have run DeepSeek R1 on it, staying entirely in memory with less than 200 watts of power draw. That's something almost no other workstation can claim. Media engines and accelerated video or ray tracing. Apple has boosted its video decode and encode engines, ProRes pipelines, etc., and added hardware-accelerated ray tracing. For video editors or content creators doing visual effects or real-time rendering, you'll see big-time savings. Design and build. If you've seen a Mac Studio before, the body shape hasn't changed much. Same compact aluminum box, same footprint. Apple nailed the industrial design. It feels premium, solid, clean. The aluminum finish, the minimal branding, the way all the ports are laid out, functional and polished. Because everything is soldered and compact, there's no user upgrade after purchase. Memory, GPU cores, etc. are fixed. Make sure you get what you need up front. In terms of ergonomics, it sits quietly, the heat vents are well handled, the fans ramp when needed but aren't overly annoying. Also, having an SD card slot up front is a thoughtful touch if you shoot a lot of photos or video. One small gripe: fingerprinting. The aluminum casing is beautiful but picks up smudges. If aesthetics matter to you, keep a microfiber cloth nearby. Pros: runs large AI/ML models with ease. Strong port selection and Thunderbolt 5. Compact, quiet, premium build. Cons: expensive, not upgradable. Final verdict. Here's my take. If you're a creator, editor, or AI developer who pushes against the limits of what machines can do, the Mac Studio M3 Ultra is an amazing tool. You'll feel time saved. You'll feel fluidity. For those with workloads that do need that scale of power, this is one of the rare machines where each spec translates into real productivity gains. On the other hand, if you occasionally edit video or you do some photo work or you're a programmer who doesn't need 200+ gigabytes of memory, then this is probably overkill. You might get 90–95% of what you need out of a cheaper Mac Studio, a MacBook Pro, or even a high-end PC workstation with fewer cores but more targeted performance. Is it worth the money? For certain users, yes, in a heartbeat. For everyone else, probably not until you absolutely need that scale. If you are in the market for a workstation that feels like the ceiling of what a personal Mac can do, this is the one. If you don't need the ceiling, saving money might not feel like sacrificing much.